All right, welcome everyone. I'm Ari. I'm the founder of Awkwardly Zen and one of the support team here. And I am so excited today to have Douglas Pratt and his amazing book, Greetings Earth, a handbook about the Galactic Federation and its history with humanity. You can find this on Amazon, and we'll be putting the link in our chat here in this event, and then also putting that link into the recording that we're doing. First, I just want to say, I have been so blessed running Awkwardly Zen to meet so many phenomenal people and to have my own belief systems challenged and opened. And I'm going to ask all of you who are here today and all of you who are watching the recording to, if you don't already wholeheartedly believe in interstellars, to just open your minds and your hearts right now, because there are some beautiful messages that are coming from our friends. And I'm just so excited to be a part of sharing that with you all. And I'm such a small part. So let's get to the actual people you want to talk to today. I want to introduce a few people in the room today. Number one, I want you to look at this beautiful book. Let me spotlight myself for a second. Here's this beautiful book here. And as you can see, there is some gorgeous art on this book. And you might have seen this art before because it's one of my favorite pieces probably in the entire world. I want to introduce you all to the amazing Stephanie Gray, who created that artwork. Stephanie is one of our practitioners here. She does a lot of beautiful things. So Stephanie, just real quick, could you say hello and let everyone know where they can find you? And I'll put that over in the chat.
Absolutely. Hello, everybody. It's good to see everyone. You can find me at stephgrayart.com or the Redbubble store that's going to be linked in the chat. And yeah, I love being here today. This is awesome.
And if you love that art, you guys, I have a tank top. I actually should have worn it today. I don't know what I was thinking. But I have a tank top of this specific piece of art from that Redbubble store. So check that out there. The other person I want to introduce, because if you've already read the book, you have seen her name pop up, is Laurie Hewitt. Laurie Hewitt is oftentimes you'll hear me say is one of the main reason that Awkwardly Zen exists. And so I have a lot of special place in my heart for her. Laurie actually channeled a portion of the book that Douglas wrote. So, Laurie, do you want to just say hello to everyone and tell everyone where they can find you?
Oh, sure. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you. Probably most of you know who I am. And yes, it was quite an experience channeling that chapter for the book. And the best way to reach me is probably my email account, which is actually in the chat, but it's Laurie K, the letter K, Hewitt at gmail.com. Or I'm sorry, it's not. It's my spiritual sojourn at gmail.com. Either one will work. And that's a way to get in touch with me. And I still do readings. The Soul Path and more interstellars are also stepping in. So I never know who's going to show up.
All right. Thank you, Laurie. And a reading with Laurie is absolutely amazing. I cannot recommend working with Stephanie and Laurie enough. However, today, the man of the hour is our own Douglas. And Douglas Pratt and I were able to meet, gosh, it's been a couple years now. And when Douglas said, hey, I channel interstellars. Y'all, I had to pause for a minute because that is not something that at that time I was necessarily familiar with. But the more time I have gotten to spend with all of these beautiful people and gotten to spend with so many of you who attend our Interstellar Open Forum every month, and the more all of these stories are coming together in such a beautiful way and all over the world, these stories are coming through. It has been such a joy to be able to tap into Douglas and his connection with the interstellars. Now, I'm going to pass this over to Douglas, and he's going to tell us a little bit about how this came to be. And then here in a minute, we're going to do a reading from the book. So, Douglas, I'm going to go ahead and spotlight you and take it away.
Okay. Well, greetings to everybody. It's great to have everybody here for me this morning. How did the book come about? I had been communicating with the interstellars from the Galactic Federation for several years, and they've guided me to different things. And was it probably early April, or maybe it was end of March of this year? I had someone ask me if I knew of a book about the Galactic Federation, and I did some checking and I sent a note back saying, no, I can't find anything, and somebody ought to write one. Well, those thoughts became the manifestation. As soon as I said those, I realized was like, oh, it's you. So suddenly I had this realization that I was going to write a book about the Galactic Federation, and which kind of gave me a pause, to say the least. But they made it clear that I would not do it alone. And then as it proceeded, it turned out that they would, each 5 different interstellars from the Galactic Federation went ahead and communicated their chapter to me, so that as they gave me the words, I typed them out. So that is the significant content of the book. The one chapter that I did not have communicated directly to me was the chapter from Oracle. And this chapter was actually communicated through Laurie Hewitt, who's here this morning. And she brought through Oracle. So I got an opportunity to not only listen to that, but ask questions as well, which was kind of fun too. So that became the manifestation of this book. So within under 8 weeks, from beginning to end, it was published. And here I sit.
Awesome. Hey, Douglas, could you just, in case there's someone who isn't familiar with the concept, can you talk a little bit about what the Galactic Federation is?
The Galactic Federation is a group, an organization of interstellar groups that have to abide by and come to very specific agreements to be party to and members of this organization. It's kind of like the UN of the interstellars. The difference is this particular group is they are able to enforce their agreements. And the bottom line is that their agreements are nothing gets settled between any groups other than through negotiation and mediation, no violence, no aggression. That's a very big deal for them. The other big deal that they're really focused on is that these different interstellar groups that belong to the Federation cannot interfere with the development or the consciousness of planets that our consciousness is not as high or their technology is not as developed, and that they cannot be interfering with that shift on those planets. And that includes Earth.
All right. And could you just real quick kind of give us those main people who they're going to hear from in the book? Just kind of an introduction of who they are and I don't know, a couple thoughts about them.
Well, you're going to hear from 3 different ones. One is Antaby, and she has been with the Federation, if I understand, from the very beginning. And she's a phenomenal being. She's very gracious, she's very kind, and she's a phenomenal healer. And I know that from being told that and actually having some experience in having her help me do some healing of my own, physical healing. So she's a wonderful being, and she has a chapter in the book. The next one that I will read from is Toth. Toth is the current commander of the Galactic Federation. He is my mentor. So he is the one who presented the idea of writing this book. And I continue to connect with him on a daily basis and get sometimes just pointers about particular things I'm doing or not doing in my own life, or sometimes something about Galactic, the Federation function, or something along those lines, just varies. And the final one is Oracle. Oracle is a being who has been with the Federation basically before it was a Federation. She is the being who was communicated through Laurie Hewitt. And she is very articulate and very eloquent with language. So it's interesting. Each chapter, as you go through them, you'll realize there are different voices and different feel to them, different energies.
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually one of my favorite things about the book to think about the personalities that are there that we might get a chance to meet. So just real quick before we get started on your reading, could you tell us a little bit about your background? Because it always is fascinating to me where you've come from and where you are now.
Well, I've been a traditional psychotherapist for almost 40 years. And at one point, I actually just did traditional psychotherapy, but I was always looking for better treatments. And it started with past life regression training, and then it went on to Michael Newton's Life Between Lives training, which was taking and moving into the non-physical. And I began to do more and more of that kind of work, working with people with their spiritual path, their spiritual awakenings. It was a progression. I did both for a long, long time. I had two different business cards, one for my traditional work and one for my non-traditional work. And in the last few years, I discovered that I too could connect telepathically with beings of light, including the galactic interstellars. So I began an ongoing relationship with them. That is where it stands today. 10 years ago, we had an interstellar show up in a session with Laurie and I, introduced himself, and then said, I'm going to be working with you, and then disappeared. So that began this whole process in a more conscious kind of way. I no longer do psychotherapy. I do only this kind of work because it's what feeds me and keeps me happy.
Love that. And we all deserve to be happy. So thank you so much for sharing that, Douglas. Now, if you wouldn't mind, we would love to have you read a little bit of the book for us. Again, I will put where you can find this book over in the chat, but it is Greetings Earth, a handbook about the Galactic Federation and its history with humanity. You can just put Greetings Earth by Douglas Pratt in Amazon to find it if you can't get to this link. But Douglas, if you would do that, and then after we're going to open up for some questions. So be thinking of those, friends.
Okay. The first excerpt is from Canterbury. Galador has requested that I, Antaby, add a portion to this book as well. It is an honor and a pleasure. My planet has been involved with the Federation from its inception. We felt that the ideals and concepts put forth by Sanat Kumara for an organization of planets that would relate and interact in a peaceful and collaborative manner was highly desirable by both our members in charge and by our citizenry as a whole. We already individually had arranged these types of agreements with several other like-minded civilizations and felt strongly that having an organization resting on these principles would be for the well-being of all. We could collaborate on our technological advancements and improve on them at a more rapid pace. We would trust that other member planets would stay within the limits of the agreement and never use violence or aggression to resolve differences. Peace would underlie all of our interactions and contribute to the increase of our vibration and move us closer to the divine while we are embodied. We felt that this was admirable and advantageous way to interrelate with each other and with the universes as a whole. We proceeded to present the concept to many other civilizations that we knew well and those that we were more unfamiliar with. It is not easy for a civilization that has provided for its own protection to pass along a significant amount to an organization of planets. We have had many stops and starts, bumps and bruises along the way, but we feel strongly that this is the way to move forward for the universes and the planets as a whole. We continue to have our own culture, ways of doing things on our planet. We have master healers, and we continue to utilize these skills for our own citizens, but also for many others from many other planets. We continue to have our own physical characteristics that are unique to us. So though we are now a part of a larger group with common goals and agreements, we retain our individuality and uniqueness. It is the same balance that we hold forth for the citizens of Earth as they move from the third dimension into the fifth. In this fifth dimension, the ability of the fear virus to manipulate on a grand scale will be dramatically diminished. It is from this vibration that humanity will have the ease and peace that they desire. We are here to assist, working with you side by side to transcend into this higher vibration. It is interesting to observe your planet's growth in consciousness. We are able to draw parallels to our own development on our planet. We too have gone through many shifts and transformations to be in the place we are with our own consciousness. We began in the fifth dimension and now are able to range from the fifth up to the ninth. We typically live in the fifth, but are quite comfortable to move between these levels of vibration. Each level has its own components by which we must abide and work within. We know that you have been in the third dimension since the beginning, and your consciousness has increased to the point where you are in place to move into the fifth. Moving into this fifth dimension is a process, and we are here to guide and assist and support in this transformation. When we were involved in designing Earth and the incarnated beings to come, we wanted to have humans develop and evolve without outside influence. Unfortunately, that was not the case. The fear virus came with the introduction of humans, and other interstellars not part of the Federation came to the planet for their own purposes. Thus, you are very unique, as you, in fact, have the DNA of over 20 interstellar civilizations within the construction of your original DNA. Many of these strands are interwoven into your DNA, but for most part inactive and yet to be activated. The shift to the fifth dimension will begin to activate these different strands of DNA and provide humanity with experiences and consciousness unknown to you prior to this profound shift. Okay, that's Antabi. The next is Toth, who is the current commander of the Galactic Federation and my mentor. There is a premise that I would like to address. Humanity is on the verge of a tremendous and long anticipated ascension into the fifth dimension. The base vibration of humanity will be such that the fear virus will have much less impact on human behavior, human beliefs, and human feelings. This will provide humans with the ability to relate to each other in a much more constructive and collaborative way. Divisiveness, which has been the bane of humanity from the beginning, will no longer dictate how humans see or act towards each other. With this newfound higher vibration, humans will be able to collaborate, drop into their creativity. In doing so, they will be able to connect to the divine in much stronger and more powerful way. This will allow joy and peace to become major ingredients of their life experience. It is time for we interstellars to reach out to your planet in a direct and conscious manner. We have long anticipated this endeavor. It was imperative that we step forward when the planet had reached a certain level of vibration and consciousness. We realize that our appearance will initially be somewhat discomforting to many humans, but we have the faith that the truth of our presence will prevail. We are coming here now to assist and guide humanity into this new level of vibration and consciousness. We have no intention nor desire to take over. The tools and technologies we offer will be taught to your specialists as soon as possible so that they can take over the use of these. We are highly interested in enabling humans to find their own empowerment as they discover their own truths about themselves. As a baby does not learn to walk by only observing, it learns through actual experience of walking with the bumps and bruises that are inherent in this process. The baby soon learns their own skills and inherently trusts them to be so. And soon enough, they are on to new learning and new developmental steps. I use this motif just as an analogy of our approach to share our tools and skills with you so that you soon will be employing them yourselves. These tools and technologies have been developed and improved upon over collaborative efforts of the interstellars of the Federation. We gladly share them with you. You too will have the advantage of using them for the well-being of the planet. It is time for Earth and her citizens to move to this new dimension of peace, ease, and joy, and the inherent ways of living that will contribute to the well-being of the planet and humanity as a whole. We do understand that human beings have a whole range of reactions to changes as well to our very arrival. It is a reflection of free will which we continue to honor. Some humans will choose not to move forward with these changes and will be given opportunities for other options that may be better fitting for those who so choose. There will be multiple windows of opportunity to choose to move with the ascension. However, those who sustain with their disinclination will then be provided other options that they will find more fitting to their current state of being. Know that we, the interstellars of the Galactic Federation, stand by this road to ascension and will do everything in our power to assist, guide, and support human beings in their individual choices with which they will be presented. During this time, you will have the opportunity to become acquainted with interstellars and understand, though we may appear physically quite different, in truth, we are souls having an incarnated experience just as yourselves. We have hearts just as yourself, and know love is in fact the most powerful energy that exists in all the universes. Okay, this excerpt is Oracle, the one who Laurie Hewitt channeled. The Federation consists of many tribes, as you might call them. We have learned how to live together, even though we appear different, have different languages, and different experiences. We have all been able to come together to put differences aside and recognize the divine in each of us. We recognize Source is at the core of everything in all of us, and that it is the common ground that we work from. And we hold one another sacred from that place of understanding, even when the others do not look like us. We can see the value and the connection. We have found a way to come together and connect from the heart to understand from the soul level that ultimately we are one, and to appreciate the differences in what each individual brings to the whole. And for that, we are stronger. The Federation is able to continue its mission to bring new beings who have agreed to join and have skills that others do not. Our vision is that soon there will be much multi-dimensional travel, that through the federations, humans will be able to travel to distant places, and others from other distances will be able to travel to Earth and experience its beauty. For Earth is unlike any other planet and was designed on that way on purpose. You may say its early design, we had conceived of this as a beautiful place. You would now call it a vacation spot, a place of many pleasures, many beauty, many exciting things to behold and experience that you would not experience on your planet or star. It is a planet designed so that everyone can visit, interact with one another in peace and joy.
That's beautiful, Douglas. Thank you.
Hold on, I got a little more.
Good.
Sadly, it was not exactly how this turned out. Mistakes were made, which are now being corrected. We hold ourselves in part responsible for not being more diligent in how humans developed, and we underestimated the effects and outcomes of interspecies mingling. When our other beings came to Earth and created hybrids, we did not understand the impact that it might have. It was seen that as humans developed, the worst parts of all beings were what were favored in the DNA of humans in each generation. It is what makes you so warlike, so narcissistic. We see this error and now are working to try and shift this so it eventually change within the human genome and DNA so that future humans will evolve more peacefully with greater understanding and acceptance of all beings. As everything moves forward and humans are evolving with our assistance, we are in the Federation are not only help to protect and to maintain peace among all, but will begin to provide more education, more learning, more understanding amongst all the beings that maintain physical form. Our greatest desire is to have that happen on Earth, that it become the schoolhouse, if you will. In many ways, it already is, but now it will include all beings, not just human beings. And this last little section is just was a closeout section I wrote for the book, and I'm going to just read a little bit of it. It has been a great honor to bring these messages. You have now had the opportunity to hear from 5 different interstellars. They have shared their perception of humanity, Earth, and its interface with the Galactic Federation. Each has shared the rationale of the Galactic Federation in coming forward to Earth at this time. They have agreements and oaths to protect and support our planet. They come here now to guide us in peace, joy, and harmony. They hold us in their hearts and come in peace themselves. Their presence is benevolent, and they wish to guide and support us as we evolve into much more of who we can truly be, leaving violence behind, aggression, and intense fear as well. And there you go.
Love that, Douglas. Thank you so much. I am going to take us to the gallery view and take the spotlight off of you. And I would love to open this up. First of all, for those of you who are on camera and can be seen, how many of you have already gotten and read this book? The handshake here. Okay, so quite a few people. And I love that because it shows the energy behind it. Douglas, those of you who have questions, please put them over in the chat, or you can also raise your reaction hand and get in line to speak. But while people are thinking about what they might want to ask about, one of the things that always popped out when I read the book was the activation of the DNA, because we hear so much in Awkwardly Zen in our Zen Zooms about people who feel like they're getting these downloads, but they don't have any change. There's no difference in them, or they don't know what it's for. In your experience with the Interstellars, are some of the people who are experiencing that, are they the ones who are having their DNA that might get activated later?
Well, I think that, yeah, my answer is yes, I believe that to be the case. I think that there's lots of downloading going on for lots of folks. And the purpose is to get us basically in preparation for whatever's unfolding next. And I think these different unfoldings are built in to create an activation of different parts of the downloads which we hold. So even though we aren't conscious of it, it will in fact occur. It makes me think of an example I had, and I'll just do it quickly. I was on a medical ship and they told me that I would have a role on it at some time. And I said, how in the world? I don't know a thing about this ship. How in the world am I going to be able to do that? And they said, oh, you have it all. It'll be activated when the time is right. And it's like, oh, okay, great. Won't worry about it anymore. So that's my personal example.
I just keep seeing in my head this giant cartoon light switch, right? That at some point they're going to click it and we're all going to go, oh, I don't think that's really how it's going to be, but that's what I keep seeing. Nicole has a question. Go ahead, Nicole.
Yes, I'm just curious. So for those who are hybrids of human and interstellar, would they recognize that within themselves? Would they kind of know that they're different from regular humans?
Well, the truth is almost all humans are hybrids. What I understand is what I read somewhere, it was not in this book, but I picked it up recently. There's almost no human beings on the planet that hold only human DNA. So this has been the hybridization, the interspecies mixing occurred a long, long time ago with different interstellars who came in and such as it were. And so the neat thing about that is we have all sorts of capacities vis-a-vis this DNA that hasn't been activated yet. So I don't know what those are either, but trust that it's true.
Yeah, and with that being said, before we run over to Denise's question, they won't always answer every question. Is that right? When you have questions for them?
They will give information that is relevant to where we're at this time. They do not want to overwhelm us. They don't want us to. The other thing, they don't want us to get out of the here and now. And we so easily we get information about the future, boom, we start drifting there. So they're very careful about that. They also don't want us to get overwhelmed.
Right. Fair enough. Fair enough. It is easy to do. All right. Denise has a question.
I don't have a question. I just have a comment that when you started reading Oracle, I started getting this ringing in my ears and it just kept going from ear to ear. So I thought that was real interesting.
Love that, Denise.
I'm sure it's just a coincidence.
Yeah, this group, we totally think there's coincidences. I love the sarcasm there, Douglas. All right. Does anyone else have any questions while you're thinking of those? Douglas, I did, but actually we'll go back to Steve. Hi, Steve.
Oh. I want to know, do the interstellars have the power to prevent like asteroids crashing into Earth?
My answer, I would presume that they do. Because I think they have all sorts of extraordinary ability to work with energy and shift things as need be.
And if they thought that we were going to engage in a nuclear conflict, would they intervene? and stop
Yes.
it?
My understanding is they will not allow it. There will be no nuclear conflict. It's not permissible. And my understanding is the nuclear weapons that are on the planet are, in fact, inert. They're not going to be able to be activated.
All right. And Douglas, that's part of the connection that was made, right? Was that's where it gets a little confusing, because you talk about how they're not allowed to well, I can't remember the word that you use, but to change how we are, but at the same time, they kind of have to protect us from ourselves, possibly. Is that accurate?
Quite accurate. In fact, that's part of why they're coming now. We're on the verge of doing something terrible to ourselves, and they will not allow it. Two reasons. One is it obviously will not work well for humanity. And honestly, it will not work well for all the universes and galaxies. It creates energetic destruction all the way through all of those. So they have an investment both for themselves and very much for us, because they want us to move forward and to ascend and move into this next dimensional level. And that would not assist that in the least.
All right. Thank you, Douglas. Okay, so we've got Terry, and then I have a question in the chat, and then we'll go to Elizabeth. Go ahead, Terry.
Do we know when they're coming?
Well, that is a $64,000 question. They don't have time. So I have to start with that. When you talk to them about when, they don't have time. What I will say, it will not be very helpful. Sooner than later.
Okay.
I think there's truth in that. I don't think it'll be an extended amount of time. Exactly what that will be, I don't know. They are looking for a place to come in where the receptivity to them is the highest and the anxiety about them is the lowest. I don't know how they assess that, but that is part of how they're looking for the right window to arrive on the planet.
Yeah, I love that, Douglas. And we've talked about this many times, but I feel like that's part of what people like all of you can help with, is bringing the fear down, normalizing things a little bit, talking about things, and opening up to the idea of things in a different way. Wouldn't you say, Douglas?
Yes, I mean, that's one of the significant goals of the book, is to, in fact, make it clear that they come here in benevolence. They're coming here to help us and guide us and facilitate support. They have no need. They have no need to take over. In fact, they would not want to do that. But yeah, that truly is what it is about. And we're trying, and that really is, the more you can communicate to whomever that is the truth of things, it will help keep that anxiety from getting higher than it need be.
Yeah, thank you for that, Douglas. Okay, so Tim has a question in the chat. What was the biggest challenge in trying to channel a cohesive book and book length message? Did you have a method or routine for consistently connecting and writing?
The method was to sit here just as I am right now, except with my fingers on the keyboard, send my mind and ego off, take a break, and then whomever was stepping forward would come forward and start giving me words, information, and I clumsily would then proceed to type that out. Because I am a poor typist and I have to spend a lot of time fixing typing errors, it's an arduous process. And basically I mean, I'm stunned that it happened in 6 weeks. The 5 chapters. And I basically took any open time I had, I would sit down and have them give me a paragraph or two, and sometimes a page too, but it varied. And it just became all consuming, frankly. And I was sort of floored when I got done. And when I got done, I thought, oh, I just made this all up. And they wouldn't let me read it. They told me not to read it until it got all done. And then I started reading the chapters and I went, oh, these are not my words. This is not how I write. It was like, this is not me. So if I had any doubt about that it had come from them, that took care of that.
Yeah, imposter syndrome is a real thing no matter what avenue you're in, right? The good news is, Douglas, is that your message is meeting up with so many messages from around the world. So it's really hard to think for just a second that you are making any of this up, including many people in Awkwardly Zen that have tied together, which is really beautiful. So thank you for sharing that. Elizabeth, and then I have an anonymous question. Oh, sorry, Elizabeth.
Hey, Douglas, thanks for sharing today. I'm very excited. I've asked for the book for my birthday, so I will be getting it very soon. And I was wondering what I'll refer to as the prime directive of interstellars, and not interfering in the advancement or evolution of different societies based on their technology, for example, as you said. One time in an interstellar meetup that Douglas, Stephanie, and Laurie all host through AZ, I heard that the Earth is a nursery planet. So I'm wondering if they would choose to step in to keep us from annihilating ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because, as you said, humans house the DNA of multiple species. If we annihilate ourselves, we eradicate us as walking seed banks. And depending on how many other planets have been seeded with multiple genetics, they're going to lose all of that data. That's something that comes to my mind, because I heard that the Earth is a nursery planet. That's just an opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Elizabeth. That's really interesting. And I mean, again, we're hearing so many beautiful things. You guys, if you have not been to the Interstellar Open Forum, that is the second Monday of every month. And it is a beautiful way to connect and to share your thoughts and your ideas and all of that. So please come hang out there. And we are talking about the possibility of adding some more interstellar events to our lineup. So be watching for those. We have an anonymous question. So it says, the linear timelines mentioned extend far before our species development, and rarely mention humanity specifically, while using floral imagery liberally. Does the inclusion of the Earth include other life and energies associated with this planet?
I don't quite understand the question.
I believe the question is, and who wrote this, if you need to clarify, please do over in the chat. I believe the question is, it's not just about humans, it's about the Earth as a whole, right? The makeup of the Earth, the plants, the animals, the minerals, all of those things.
Yes. It's about Earth and humanity both. I mean, one of their agendas, from my understanding, is as they begin to arrive, is to begin to start doing some work with the ecological disasters that are on the planet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Start reversing some things.
And that's something actually that all of you, if you want to help with things, there has been many messages about sending healing into the Earth and doing our own part to heal the Earth ourselves, because that can help with making the ease of them coming to this planet. Would you say that's right, Douglas?
Absolutely.
Okay. Jillian put the next interstellar event over in the chat. Thank you. And then Christina wants to know, how do you open yourself to receptivity? And I think that was my question answered. So but let's go ahead and talk about that a little bit, because channeling as a whole, in my opinion, everyone can do it. So, and can connect, but we all might connect with different types of entities or different energies. And some people are more open to it. Douglas, when you first channeled, and got those messages from the interstellars, were you open to it, or was it something that had to grow with you?
Oh, it had to grow with me. I never thought of it as channeling for years. I just thought of it as I had a telepathic connection with them, and could, have a conversation and communication. I did not think of it. I don't think I really thought about it as channeling until right before putting this book together. And it was like, oh, I guess I do channel. So I had never, I just hadn't conceptually thought of myself in that way.
Love that. Laurie, I think you had a comment or a question.
Yeah, give me a second, because it felt like it kind of comes back to that last question. And so somebody had stepped in. So give me a second here. While we are concerned about humans, For in fact, you are our children, our cousins, our brothers and sisters. Our biggest concern is for the earth itself. Understand that the earth occupies a specific place in the universe, and any discord, any violence to the earth itself will have incredible ripples out into everywhere, other galaxies, other universes, other dimensions. And this, as Douglas had stated in the book, cannot be allowed, for we value the earth and all that she brings. The creation of earth was to bring all of these different species, animals, plants, aquatic life, all onto this planet to see how it would transform, how it would thrive or not, and how it would evolve and develop over time, over the eons that Earth has been in existence. Understand that your history of the Earth is limited, and you do not fully understand the age of Earth itself. This is becoming more clear with your scientists and the archaeologists who are delving more into the earth and expanding their understanding and knowledge. The earth has gone through many, many changes, many disasters, many near annihilations, and this has been prevented to allow the earth to also return and to finally settle into the earth that you know as today. For human beings, you are relatively new on the planet, and again, you've been allowed to develop and evolve at your own rate and pace. And now it is time for all of us to return and come together so that everyone, not just humans, but all, can begin to thrive and work together, and that the earth can also continue to heal and to evolve even further.
Right. Thank you, Laurie.
Sure.
All right, we have another question. Do they see the earth as a sentient being?
They talk about everything has consciousness, and that certainly includes Earth itself.
Okay, and then we have a question in the chat on if you're open to doing other speaking engagements.
Oh, absolutely. This is one of my part of my path and purpose. So absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you guys can find Douglas. I'll put his website over, but it's douglaspratt.com. And you can find the book, and I'll put that link over there as well. Actually, Jillian, if you wouldn't mind grabbing both of those links from higher up in the chat, that'd be great. And you can find those there. Yeah, sure. So the next question is from Dominique, and can you speak on the importance of DNA?
I will, with my minimal knowledge, I will speak to it a little bit. What I've come to understand that I don't think I ever fully appreciated is truly the power of DNA, and how it influences so many aspects of our beingness. Talking about the DNA affects us being so narcissistic and being warlike, I don't think I ever thought that could be possible, but it's apparent that DNA is very influential. And us holding these other DNAs has had its problems, but I think it also has some incredible possibilities down the line. That's the best I can talk about DNA. I don't know a lot about its influence in general.
Okay, thank you. And then you spoke about the fear virus, and that comes up in the book quite a bit. Can you just touch on, because I think that is such a fascinating way to talk about fear. Can you talk a little bit about the fear virus and what that means to you through your channeling efforts?
Well, the fear virus is one of the most predominant energies on the planet, and in fact has, of course, gotten bigger, more powerful over time. And part of it is it's so pervasive in our lives and on our planet that we don't even see it that way. We don't understand it as that. And fear is behind the aggression, because one of the ways you manage being fearful is to become aggressive and angry. And so I think they use the fear virus is somehow when they started to see this planet, there had been no intention for having any kind of other virus come, any energy come to the planet beyond what they specifically wanted. But that was in fact not what occurred. It came with them seeding the planet. So it was there at the very beginning, and all that fearfulness. And that's always been a component of struggle of consciousness and humanities working their way through that.
All right. Love that. Thank you. Well, it looks like we are wrapping up as far as questions go. Douglas or Laurie, did anyone else want to come through and share anything? I'm sure we have many friends with us here today that are not in the Zoom room itself. I'll give you a second.
We truly appreciate you all attending today. We are deeply grateful for you. Become the next step in disseminating this concept that our arrival is in fact benevolent, that we have peace, harmony, joy as our focuses. And we appreciate you being here today so that you may have an opportunity to continue to convey and share that message with others as well. Our goal, we know we are coming, our goal is to make it as least disruptive as possible. For we truly are here to facilitate, support, guide. And you have a role, if you so choose now, to assist in that. And we truly appreciate that from the depths of our hearts to you today.
Beautiful. Thank you, Douglas. Anything from you, Laurie?
Give me just a second. Yeah. We are very grateful to have had this opportunity to speak with you through Douglas today and through this book. Know that we are ready to assist in any way that we can, and we want to reassure all of you that each of you who are here today are awakening, are moving more and more toward the fifth dimension. Your vibrations are increasing. Know that much work is being done with each of you during the dream time, for this is our ability to work with you when the mind and ego are resting. For then we are able to bring you information, downloads as they are called, on your planet to help you to begin to feel at home and comfortable with our presence, so that you will know that we are familiar when we do arrive. You may call on us at any time. You may speak to us at any time. As it has been noted, all of you are able to channel and to receive messages. And know that just as you can communicate with spirit, you also may communicate with us. It is about believing and trusting and allowing yourself to be open to this possibility and listening. Thank you for the opportunity to be present with you today.
Lovely. Thank you. So Douglas, let me just restate a few different facts for some people. You can find Greetings Earth, a handbook about the Galactic Federation and its history with humanity, on Amazon.com. You can just look up Greetings Earth by Douglas Pratt and find it there. There is a Kindle version as well as the paperback version that you can get. You can find all of the people who spoke today on awkwardlyzen.com on the partners page, because that makes it easy for everyone. And there is one more question out there, Douglas. Will there be any more books?
My suspicion is yes. I can feel it on the edge, but of course, as always with them, I couldn't tell you what it's going to be about or when it will be about. But yes, I suspect it's coming.
Yes, adventure. And then Jillian just put over in the chat that you could find Stephanie Gray's store on Redbubble, where you can find this beautiful artwork and so many others. Stephanie taps into the interstellars and communicates with them through art. They're beautiful. I am so grateful to have so many amazing people as a part of our group. Another person I want to shout out while she's in here is Valerie, who with her group, Tarot, Unicorns, and Coffee, does channeling of interstellars every month. So Valerie, if you could throw your group over in the chat as well, that would be great. There are so many avenues out there to explore this topic. So if your mind is open just a little bit more to it, please, please, please be watching for them. And I tell you, as soon as you open your mind to it, they start coming. And what a beautiful thing to do. I love the what if of this topic. I love the possibilities, and I love the idea that it's all for our greater good. And so I hope we can all walk together in that energy. Thank you guys so much for being here today. Douglas, Laurie, Stephanie, everyone else, thank you so much for being here and sharing your thoughts and your love and your messages from our interstellar friends. And thank you all. Have a great day. This will be on YouTube if you want to share it with anyone. So in the next few days. Thanks, guys.